Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
In Nigeria, 10.1 million primary school-age children are not in formal schooling, while 60% of these estimated numbers are girls, making her one of the world's highest number of out-of-school children. But the federal government has continued to pay less attention to addressing these challenges, despite its devastating effects of nearly 3 times under 5 mortality rates, amounting to 142 per 1,000 for children born by mothers with no education, against children born in the richest household that account for 47 per 1,000, while those born by mothers with tertiary education or higher account for 40 per 1,000 respectively. However, an estimated 25.6% of these children, which is 10.4% of the population, risk high levels of violence and abuse, including recruitment by non-state armed groups due to limited coverage of the government-funded social protection system, reaching only a fraction of the poor and vulnerable. Even though they constitute half of the population in most developing countries, their vulnerability to poverty and abuse leaves a lasting mark on the children's development and mental health. To this end, the United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF Nigeria has been keen on achieving results more strategically. This brought about the training of trainers on the presentation of a new curriculum 2023 to 2027 for child rights reporting for polytechnics in Enugu State, where every child in Nigeria, especially the most excluded, survives, thrives, learns, protected, and develops to full potential, free from poverty in a safe and sustainable climate and environment. This necessitated the gathering of scholars from the Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, Anambra State, polytechnic lecturers, and the media to boost gender inequalities awareness as it endangers the girl child, even as it identifies the government's insufficient investments while discouraging the basic social service financed by out-of-pocket expenditure by the most vulnerable in the society. Feeding questions from journalists, UNICEF communication specialist Geoffrey Njoku stressed that limited human resource capacity by states and local governments is responsible for the slow pace of service delivery, hence urging the media to do more investigation to balance investment that will promote public finance management to enable the curriculum to achieve success.
We've worked several years with the universities, and when they were doing the unbundling of mass communication in the universities, we were quite impressed with it. And I'm happy to say that at the end of the unbundling, child rights reporting came into the curriculum for mass communication in Nigerian universities. Then to now it's called GMS Journalism and Media Studies 403. That's the course title, the course code for child rights reporting in Nigerian universities. So what we're doing here, so the confusion is like, Nnamdi Azikiwe University has decided, okay, now that we have it in the curriculum in Nigerian universities, they have decided to domesticate it within their own, to start running with it. So that's why we are providing them with that initial orientation and training for the teachers or the lecturers who are going to be running the course.
Earlier in his lecture, Dr. Jide Johnson noted that children's upkeep should reflect joy and peace that would attract the playing method of learning and growing. Hence, despite efforts to meet the target, they are exposed to dangers of war, violence, and racial discrimination, among others. He lamented the increasing rate of child mortality due to malnutrition and diseases, thus calling for their inclusivity in all national laws, such as the right to justice and peace in terms of good governance, education and health, protection against exploitation and harmful traditional practice, which includes early marriage and female genital cutting.
It can be what it is. There's a cultural dimension to these rights, which is the responsibility of the child and the responsibility of the parents to the child for the child's development. You agree with me that the most vulnerable segment of the society are women and children. And we must make a provision for what should be their rights in the society so that they are protected, so that their voices are heard in issues that affect them. We provide an environment for them to survive and for them to develop and achieve their fullest potential.
Also speaking, some participants at the training urged the government, parents and caregivers to ensure children's protection even in a difficult context, stressing that the country's national laws must be amended to guarantee the full protection of the social and economic rights of every child for the best practice.
The signing of any law, because Nigeria runs a federal system of government, the National Assembly ought to, under Section 12 of the Constitution, to domesticate these laws. And because the federal system, it is the constituent state assemblies of each state, that is still states of the federation, that ought to domesticate these laws to suit their culture or to suit their religion. Under Chapter 2 of our Constitution, these are where these rights are mentioned, and these rights are not justiciable. They are fundamental objectives and derivative policy of state government. The government to be responsible, and the only way is through advocacy. India has the same constitution with us. The legislators make the executive to give a report, an annual report or a quarterly report of how far they have performed these rights as enshrined in Chapter 2, from Section 14 to Section 24. 12 sections in that chapter. Despite the laws at the national level, regional level, and Nigeria, we have the Constitution of Nigeria, we have the Child Rights Act, we still see that the rights of the child are still violated. The laws are there. If you look at the Constitution, the rights of the child are there. For example, the tertiary rights that provide for the safe political right of the child. I mean, the right that provide for liberty. Now, the problem I see is the second dimensional right, the right for the social economic rights of the child. That is where you will see the rights of participation, you see the right of survival, development, and protection. However, these rights are not justiciable. Why? The Nigerian Constitution gave us human rights, and it's like in Chapter 2, it took it away from the child. So it has exposed the child to so many violence. Where the economic situation is not suitable for the child cannot go to school. The child cannot access good health facility. The child cannot enjoy all the welfare rights, cannot access good food, cannot access good water, talking about good Nigeria. So the problem lies in that particular section that have cunningly or craftily removed those rights. I still see a problem that may truncate the level of the rights. Because when a child is exposed to poverty, the child cannot access good education. And when a child is denied the right of education, the child is exposed to violence, the child is exposed to drug abuse, the child will enter into drug addiction, the child will be used for prostitution, the child will enter into crime. Nigeria must do what other countries have done, like South Africa and India. They must try to shift that Section 2 to Chapter 4, so that those children will be justiciable.
The event was aimed at fulfilling UNICEF's core mandate by working in states and local governments where children are greatly deprived of their rights to basic amenities. Vincent Okushi, QTV News, Abuja.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.